Okay, so summer, let's do this. We have this project. We can talk tomorrow about some things here, but in general, it's looking much better. First, let's see where we are. Here's where you're doing some interesting moves. As I mentioned, I think we need to operate with a model in place option. So just choose one room. Could be nice to work with. Example, you have this one here. I'm just gonna delete that one. You have it in the other one, so you can just bring it afterwards if you need it again. Okay, just gonna delete that. And let's just see where we are now. So something weird there. I don't know where it is. But anyway, just imagine we have that interior space. So hide this to see it better. I'll leave the trusses. In theory, you will need the roofs here as well. Let's unhide those. Unhide those. And in theory, you will need at least those walls on top floor. Okay. Let's see where we are now. Nice. So we could move this to a better place. See it. And I mean, you can do it this way, or you can just do it many other ways. But okay, so we have this space. How do we start dealing with sections and so on? As I said, probably what we need to do is model in place as an option. I think maybe continue as a wall or ceiling component. Probably if it's a ceiling component, you will use the ceiling here. But if it's an extension of the wall, you can use walls, and you can keep them both in under walls or under ceilings, because there's a little bit of a moment where things get confused depending on the angle, no? And you were going to call it, let's say, space. I mean, you could do one by one, or like you could do a space one and give here the name, like lobby, whatever, or you can just do most of the ceilings in one-to-one space. I'm just going to do it as space one condition, and you figure out how you give the names. Remember, we enter these tools, so I'm going to use the extrusion. But one thing that is important that is to create an extrusion, if we click here and show, we're going to draw lines or curves on that blue grid, and then when the extrusion is going to be perpendicular to that surface. So we want to change that. Set plane, pick plane, say okay. And I'm going to do the interior of this wall. So that's where the new kind of a wall goes. You can make it bigger, smaller. You can also hide it if you don't want. And you start creating the sections here. You probably recommend that you do some picking options. And I know in some of your kind of sections you were using the trusses as elements. So maybe you want to do that. Click once there. Click once there, for example. You might want to click here. And then you may want to click here. So basically, you create the main set of lines that work for you. You can do this situation, example, and if you don't want to go up there all the way, imagine you want to do another line, LI, and then you do something. Oh wait, let me pick another one here, just as an example. I'll do a couple options. Frame, and then I'm going to pick another one here, interior face here. We're trimming this. And then I want to pick the bottom of the roof, PR there. And there you have some options here that why not? It could be an option. We might not need the top ones. These are all things to consider as we move forward. You can always click the right view here to see how they are. For example, we might actually need this space, not that one, and we need this one also. It is perfectly aligned that. So this allows to see it more precisely into the, well, you're not into the, you're actually just seeing this. I'll do that. I'm going to do an offset. Offset, what I could do is just an offset similar to the partition, and whether the partition is this big or bigger is something we need to think about in terms of acoustic, if it makes sense in plan or so on. But for now, I'm just gonna do a numerical offset of 6 inches, for example. Okay, so that's that. I'm gonna do that above, and I'm gonna do here, to this side, that side, that side. Well, that wall goes from that point up, and here's going from here. So TR, cleaning up this, TR, cleaning up this, making sure this is connected. Here we need to figure out how we actually end this. I just noticed that this should be probably connected in your plan, so then we will do a picking plane and here, and then TR and TR, something like that. But if you need to solve that, you can always start picking things around, say here, 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 and here. So again, that's a dirtier connection. If you have a wall coming and connecting with that, probably better. Into this, 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 TR. Okay. So imagine you have that just as an option, one space, and it's opening both. So that it's going to be turning in that direction. Oops, you want to go that way. You want to go this way. How do you go exactly? You can do AL, which is a line, and you go to the edge of this one, and it goes there. No, so you select the first one and the other one. Okay. So that could be an option. One thing that you could do is also say, well, the material of this is whatever you want it to aside. So let's say gypsum wool board, for example. Gypsum. And that would be both sides. Then you can paint, obviously, the different surfaces as you want them to be. And you will say, okay, so that would be a connection. Then you can potentially take this all the way up. And then say, select this one and edit profile. And you can start doing the picking lines as with the other option. Pick. You can also go to the left view here. Say, pick, 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 pick. And TR for trimming. TR for trimming. Delete this one, say okay. And let's see how that looks. Oh, obviously we need to continue in the profile editing by inserting, obviously, this surface is now. So we need to say click here, and now TR here, here, delete, TR, TR. It takes a little bit of work. Now, this would be the same here. You will just select this wall and go up. What you could do is also, you can copy, paste in the same place. It will be exactly in the same location. And then you can just go, for example, imagine you want one wall to go to a specific height. I don't know why this is not coming. Well, we need to kind of change the base offset here. Okay, you could do this one, go all the way up, and you can do the same thing. Also, you can keep the door there or coming along. So then this one could have a different material now than the other one. To show this, you can edit the profile as well. Pick line, pick, put the right view here. Pick, 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 pick. Yar, yar. Go there. I'm not sure if you should go there, but this is something to test afterwards in perspective. TR, R, R, align, 2. Okay, so if you say that, I'll just leave it with this. No, I'm not saying this is ideal, but at least, when you're in the interior, you're going to have this section, no? Which is this condition, no? That's a big tunnel for the metal. Maybe it's a little bit too crazy. That also combined with the hiding of the truss or showing the truss, depending on it, that could be an option. You could play with other organizations and so on. Let me try another option for you, and I'm just going to go to another different section to the room next to it. We did the one nearby, but what we could do is, for example, do this side one and, do it in a different way. Let's imagine we do it in a different one. So we actually go architecture, modeling place, go to ceiling again. Maybe these are all ceilings, and we can call it ceiling or space, ceiling or whatever it is, and number 2. And you can do it by fractions as well. That could be a good idea. And then again, change, pick a plane. You can have, if you want to do that space, for example, you can do this one. So it could be bigger if you want, doesn't really matter, it's infinite. And then you can start creating picking lines. So it's the same idea. You can go to the right view, and this is where your your drawings, the ones you did before, make more sense. Like this. I think you had one option like this now as well. Oh, I'm gonna pick here. Have it there. Maybe it's not exactly what we want. Maybe we do something like this, or so it's symmetrical. Let me delete this and do a mirror from that point or from whatever point. Move it here and then trim these two guys. So it's a perfect alignment as you had in some of your perspectives, no? And then we do an offset situation. We can press the tab, and here's where you either solve that there or you you raise that other wall in a different way, however you see it fit. We can do this for now like this. Need to close that line. Let's go to the 3D. Aligning to this space, this one. And have that there, no? That could look nice as an option. Again, you will select the material here. They finish the model, and then what you will do is select this element and do an edit profile, for example. No? And you can say pick lines here. Pick up the line here. Then you will have that condition there. So the question is, how do we do some openings? We can select this option, edit in place. You can go to the top view, do a wireframe, WF, and do, for example, create, instead of extrusions blend, you have void options. You can say void extrusions, create a rectangle. Let's say we need to change the working plane to be the level 1, which is in the bottom. Just so you see it, and it's there, rectangle. Just imagine we're doing some stripes or something like this here. I'm not saying they're the best option, but imagine that's what you want. Copy them. Select them all, move them, and then do a mirror. We select the axis of the plane. You go to 3D, and you don't see much. Even they're like voids, but you can raise those, as much as needed, so they go. Hopefully, they go through that model. Now, sometimes it doesn't do that. There you go. So what I did is, if it doesn't do this, is a void model in orange. Theoretically, it should be cutting through any other model, but it doesn't. So sometimes you have to go to cut, click on the model you want to cut on, and then click on the orange guy. And then you have them there. Okay. You can say finish model there, and then that's wireframe, choose a line. You can go to level 1. I think I was doing those two, so in a way, camera here will allow us to see that of a world up there. And again, those will be capped or not with the other options. Maybe we can make other type of openings from side to side, and then we can just walk to the other room and see how that looks. And those are, they can be operating in different ways. Now, obviously, there are elements that need to be thought about. For example, this element here could be that we do a couple of things. We leave it as a gesture and we add another one, for example, that is kind of a plane with that axis. We paint it in a interesting color, so it shows as a kind of a dynamic ingredient in the space. Another thing we can do is, we could consult a little the structural element if it could disappear, given that we can add other ones in different places, so it keeps it a little bit in a cleaner way, So this element will be hidden within the truss system, because you probably have to adjust those caps of the truss. So in general, this type of perspective will look quite refreshing To do the openings here, you will have to do a little bit the inverse. So you do another model in place, or in the same model in place. You can do, no, in the same, no, you will have to do another model in place and have those shapes be constructed and assigned in a different material, which will be glass. Okay, so in general, you start shaping the room one by one like this and carefully organize them so they look as powerful as each of the space need to look. Okay. Yep.